Hello, friends. Welcome aboard the Round Trip Stories podcast, where we share stories of moving around the world and back again, reflecting on the lessons we've learned along the way. My name is Melissa.
And my name is Tracy, and we are so glad you're joining us for today's episode. Welcome back to part 2 of our interview with Carolina Baiza, eco-hotel owner and sustainability entrepreneur from El Salvador. After 15 years of traveling to study in Europe and then representing El Salvador in trade and world fairs, she decided to settle down and stay put in her home country of El Salvador. Listen to how Carolina took what she learned from her networks abroad and grew the sustainability model for her Arbol de Fuego hotel, where she also grew deeper roots of her own in her community. So buckle your seatbelts and make sure your tray tables and seats are in their upright positions as part 2 of Carolina's round trip story gets ready for takeoff. Welcome back to part 2 of the Round Trip Stories episode with Carolina Baiza, a hotel owner from El Salvador. And her hotel is an eco-hotel, and they actually just won a national prize for the environment in the urban hotel category. So congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we want to just, for those of us who are joining, we want to just kind of review your backstory, Carolina, and remind us where you lived abroad and how long you were there.
Well, I lived in Germany at the beginning for 8 months. Then I studied there for a year and a half. And then I got a job to represent El Salvador in different expos, in small ones and big ones. And ones that lasted 3 days or 6 months. So I loved traveling, and I had the chance to live in Spain and in Korea also, and in Rome.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, so then what made you permanently relocate back to El Salvador?
You know, the last expo I made was in Korea, and I got the chance to do everything from zero. I made the concept of the presentation. I was in charge of the decoration. A friend of mine lived in Korea, and she helped me with the decoration. And it was like the perfect expo. And somehow I thought this might be the last one because it's too perfect. And in fact, it was the last one.
Oh.
And we got a prize. We got a silver prize for our presentation of sea turtles. So it was my successful event abroad. And it was the last one. And then the next expo was in Milano, in Italy. And there's a big colony of Salvadorians living there. So they preferred hiring people, Salvadorians living in Milano. And then my last chance was the last expo in 2020. It was in Dubai. And with this government, I didn't make it. So the next one will be in some months in Japan. And I didn't knew about it. So I'm out of that world, I think. I'm settled down already.
Okay, we have never interviewed anybody who's in the world of professional expos and world expos. And so this is very interesting to us. And listen to Carolina's previous episode because she talks all about the fantastic things that she found and learned from all the people that she met all around the world. So when you came back to El Salvador, what did you do?
Well, I didn't abandon El Salvador because I was coming and going, and so I was constantly coming, but I didn't have friends here. My friends were all over the world. And here, while I was here, I was working in the hotel with my mom, and I was implementing eco projects. Things that I learned abroad, I implemented them in the family business. So it was shocking at the beginning, because here are many problems and lots of pollution, lots of eco disasters. We are the second most deforested country in the Americas after Haiti.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
Is that the second most by percentage? Like the percent of the country that's been deforested?
We only have 1% of original forest. So, and
Wow.
it's very small, so there's a
Yeah.
big damage. So I became
Wow.
very green, and I have my life in one of the most deforested and one of the most destroyed countries in the world.
Yeah.
So it was like ironic. Why I was born here if I love nature, if I love protecting the planet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and it was very difficult because I had to begin making new friends, and at the same time I was always trying to travel again, and I continued traveling for holidays, and because of the hotel, I got invitations to share my experience in Costa Rica or in Cuba, but I still wanted to get the expos, and I still wanted to continue visiting other places in expos, but then the COVID came, the pandemic came, and that was my moment. I realized it's my chance to settle down here completely, because for 8 years, I think, or more, I struggled to continue traveling. I tried to get other expos, and I never made them, and but I still wanted to continue, and no matter what, I wanted that deeply in my heart. And although I was doing very good things here, because I was making these eco projects, I was making the hotel greener and greener, but my heart was still wanted to travel. Until the pandemic, that we were forced to stay here, I realized that El Salvador was my home country again, and that there are many things to enjoy. And I realized that in abroad, in Europe or in Asia, things are done already. But here, everything has to be done. So I had the chance to copy all the things I saw and to implement them here. And it was very nice to make our hotel a hotel, which is also a school. We call it Hotel Escuela. So in the hotel, we receive children from universities and from schools, and they come and learn how to become sustainable. We gave them a tour, as we did to Tracy's family. We did it when they came here, and I had the chance also to make a video game with with two other friends.
Oh, wow.
To teach sustainability to children. We won a prize with the German government, again with the Germans, and there was a prize, and we won this prize about technology and sustainability. So we created this video game to teach sustainability to at-risk children in El Salvador. So there have been many chances with the community. We have changed everything. When I was traveling, my road where I live had many problems with buses and smoke and pipe. There were also pipes still in the water because we have some wells in the corner. And with our neighbors, we began planting trees. We began protecting parakeets that came from the forests. They were refugees. They are refugees from the deforestation. So we had the chance to protect them and to do many things with the community. At the beginning, the community, they didn't like nature. Now we are all protecting the trees. We love where we live, and we are still active in nature. And so it has been very satisfying for me to implement everything that I learned. Also to tell advices. Now I feel like the old grandma telling good advice to the children,
The auntie.
Yes, the auntie. Yes.
Well, can you think of a story about what it was like coming back to El Salvador after being gone?
It was a challenge because I was different. For example, in those years, I did more than any average Salvadorian does in their normal life. So when I was 35, I did many things that other people are not able to do here in El Salvador. So it was challenging, especially in the environmental part, because I became very green, and now I feel that they respect me after 25 years. And they respect me now, and they say, oh yes, she's right, she's doing things well in that eco project. So it was very hard at the beginning. I didn't have friends. I didn't know the places. I knew the places, but I didn't know who to call. My friends were somewhere else, and was also very attached to them.
Yeah.
But then suddenly my friends, my classmates, we began meeting again more often, and I also met other people. I also go to a church, and I met people from my church. So my community began growing, my neighbors. They were very active before the pandemic. Now they are older, of course, but I love to talk to them and to discuss things about politics and things like that.
Yeah. As you're talking about what it was like to come back, it reminds me of when a tree or a plant is transplanted from one place to another, and how, some of the roots and the soil have to get left behind. And when it moves to a new place, it's a difficult process, and the plant can go through some stress and some shock, but eventually the roots grow again. And I feel like that, what you were describing reminded me of that process.
It's a perfect example. I was feeling also after the last expo in Korea, I was feeling tired of meeting people, of knowing them, of getting closer to them, and then leaving them. So there was a time that I said, I'm tired. I don't want to meet many people again. It's like I was tired of this, of not being stable.
Yeah, so you were ready to
Yes.
grow some roots and be planted again. And you didn't know at that point that it was going to be longer than you were expecting, but you were ready anyway.
Yes, but now I think I have the fruits, and I never got the fruit. And now I have mangoes in my tree.
Yeah, and you get to share them.
Yes, and to eat them.
Yes, you get to eat them and share them.
Yes.
You were talking about fruit, and I think that the people who are very globally mobile, there's a place for those people, right? That we need people who have the broad perspective and who have a big worldview. And like, for example, for you could share that and apply that in a very practical way to create a sustainable hotel, and then that affects other people as well. I also feel that having not, like, especially professionally, like having not put down deep roots in, let's say, in public education in the United States, or in California, like I see people who have deep roots or who've been this teacher at the same school and who are well known, and all the fruit that comes from that. But I have to keep telling myself it's okay, because I'm a breadth person, not quite a depth person. But now in my position and teaching university students or credential candidates, I I know that I have to grow and network, and I know that I have to stay in this position a long time so that there is more fruit, there is more trust in our programs, and I become also an expert in what I'm doing, so it takes both. Like, I'm glad that I have had all this breadth of experience, lived in Mexico and Los Angeles and China and 2 cities in China, because that contributes to my skill set right now. But now, like you, I'm ready to put the roots down. I'm ready to stay in one place. And I get like little glimpses of the fruit of relationships too in my community, because there's no trading. If you've known somebody for 5, 10, 25 years, there's just a connection that comes from that. So anyways, I just wanted to say yay for your fruit. and
Yes.
and I hope to have more in my future as well. But right now, I feel like it's just kind of some buds, some little green oranges, little teeny tiny green oranges.
So, Carolina, you've already talked a little bit about making relationships and that being helpful. Is there anything else that you want to share about what was helpful during some of those transitions as you resettled and started growing more fruit?
Well, it was very helpful that while I was here, there were many programs to help us to become sustainable in the hotel. For example, we got the support from USAID, and we got the visit from an environmental engineer, and he taught us how to become extremely green. So all these, how do you call them, consultants, they came here and they taught me also in a professional way how to make the hotel green. It was not just what I saw abroad, but also the technical things I didn't know. They were taught to me while I was here by experts who came with different NGOs from Costa Rica, from Mexico. So I think that was like the most important thing for my career in the hotel, to get all this wisdom from all these people. So that was very helpful to get adapted here, because I was sorry for being here, but at the same time I got this good lessons and very important things to learn from these people who knew everything about the environment.
So we call this our choose your own adventure question. Basically, you get to choose which of these questions you want to answer. So first, what rhythms do you have in place that allow you to remember your time abroad in different places? Or what do you do with all of the feelings and memories and relationships and love for the places or people where you have been? Or do you have a favorite funny story about any of your time traveling or any time?
Well, I have many feels and memories from good people, from bad people too, from bad experiences, from good experiences. So I try to keep them in my heart. And now with technology, it's easier to be in touch with people. With Germans, it's still complicated because they don't like technology. They don't like emails.
Interesting.
Yes. So it's still very sometimes complicated with them. But for example, to see my friends that are having children, that I met them when they were 20, in their 20s, and now that they are settled, and all their achievements, and how some of them are very important people, and very serious people. And it was funny to remember how funny and crazy they were as they were young. And so I think that's the most beautiful thing, to see how people change, and for better, mostly. Yes. And also that they know that they have me as a friend and they can come to El Salvador whenever they want.
How often do you receive visitors in your hotel that you've met during your expo years?
I received more before the pandemic.
Okay.
Yes, before the pandemic, they were visiting me, and it was nice visiting them. And the good thing about the hotel is that I still meet people from abroad every day. So I feel
That's true.
not disconnected from the world because they always come and tell me what's happening, and then it's like you are still active with what's happening outside.
Yeah. That must be really special to be able to see, like through Facebook or whatever social media, how those those folks that you met around the world and what they're doing.
Yes.
What are people into? Like after they do the expo and they have that experience with exchanging information with other countries, now what are people into? Like, do they get into politics? Are they making their own businesses? Are they in education? Is there any pattern?
Well, for example, the ones in Cuba, they have left Cuba because after living abroad, they saw something different. And one of them got married to a German guy. The other one moved to Florida. So it depends where they are from. I know a friend from India now who's like in politics, and he's very important. A good friend in Indonesia, he's also in politics, and he's making changes that, for example, things he learned in Germany, he's implemented in Indonesia. Or my friends that are having children and they are getting very happy and they have crazy happy families, and it's it's very nice to see that too. So it depends what you call success, because also probably they are not in politics, but they're having a most they have a better life with raising their children. But it's nice to see how they have changed and how we get old too.
Older and wiser.
We do.
Yes, and wiser, yes.
Yes.
And then we can also enjoy the people that we've influenced, whether they be our children or people we've worked with, and then they move on to different opportunities.
Yes.
It's nice to be at this point in midlife where we see a lot of people growing and the growth that they've made.
Yes. Yes.
Well, Carolina, please tell us a final story about how your time abroad continues to add value to your life now.
Well, I still have contacts, and time abroad has helped me to have all these contacts. For example, I have friends in Germany that work for tourism, and they go to the ITB, which is a very special tourism fair in Berlin, in Germany. And I see their blogs and see what's happening on that fair. So, and if there's a journalist, I can contact them and tell them, can you write something for me? Or do you think any journalist is interested in coming to El Salvador? And also, I have met people from hotels that work in the sustainable way, and we are friends. And if I go to Costa Rica, I go to visit them and to see their projects. So I think the most important thing was the contacts that I've made to get support or to help them too if they have any question and that I can help. We connect, and then we can have good conversations about certain topic. And for example, during the pandemic, I was asking my friends, "What are you doing now? How are you going to survive? How are you going to take care of your people if they get COVID?" and things like that. So your networking is very important.
Yeah, the people that we connect to, we get to keep those connections. They may not be the same as they were when we were living and working together, but there's always opportunities, especially now with technology, to reach out again and reconnect, and that is very, very valuable.
Yeah,
Yes.
our last interviewee, Branko Pekovic, he also talked about that. He's a professional athlete, but he says he maintains connections and thinks about projects he can do with his former colleagues, and yeah, you don't necessarily realize that the people that you are in a dorm with when you're studying abroad can be future business partners, or not only maintain a friendship, but then also it could develop into something else as well. Our last question, Carolina, we've really enjoyed listening to the concepts of your eco hotel and all that you brought back with you, learning from abroad and then bringing it back and sharing it with others. Can you give one last word of encouragement to our listeners who might be going through that tough phase of returning to their home country and thinking about, okay, what's next?
Well, first of all, to the young people that are here, I advise them to travel. And for the ones who are coming back from traveling, I advise them to enjoy the simple things that we have in our places, that we can live a simple life, and probably it's totally different than Europe. So it's not degrading, it's upgrading, because there are many things you can do here. And there are many things that you can change by telling people how you lived, or you can teach the people around you, new ways to do other things. So to implement the privilege that you had in your place, that's the most important thing.
Right. We've been gifted with all of these skills and relationships and knowledge.
Yes.
So it's to share with others.
Yes, I remember when every time I came from any travel, my grandma was always waiting for me. And she was asking me, how was it? How do people think? And I began telling her about the food, the restaurants, and the bathrooms in Japan and things like that. And she was like, wow. So it was like a movie for her every time I came back.
Right. Our choices of living abroad influence those who are close to us as well. Right.
Yes.
And they are forever changed because we are forever changed.
Yes, it's true.
And I think that, like you mentioned about, appreciating the simple things, those conversations, those times of sharing our experiences with others, that's one of the simple things that we can enjoy. And there are so many things. I am thinking of somebody that we were together with recently who had moved back from Germany, and it was hard for her to be back here in Fresno because she had enjoyed the nature and the beauty so much in Germany, and she felt like there wasn't any here. And how good it was for her to discover there were places of beauty in nature, even here, even in the middle of Central California, not far from town. And I think I appreciate the reminder to enjoy the simple things, and whether it's a big place where we can get away to, or even just a small a tree that we plant in our yards, or plants you plant on the roof of your hotel. There are simple things that we can enjoy all around us if we look.
Yes, especially now that times are changing and that the world is crazy, you realize you're safe where you are now. And because everywhere there's trouble, and so where you are, you have to try to do your best and to make a positive change.
As we land this interview, we hope that you have been inspired by Carolina's stories. She had a global network of friends and professionals, but after settling back in El Salvador permanently, it was difficult to make friends. Growing her sustainable model for her hotel was helped by her international connections, and she continues to share all that she learned from overseas to benefit her industry in Central America. As she has become more and more rooted again in her community, she has also found sustainability in her friendships with the Salvadorans around her. No matter what leg of the journey you are on, friends, we are so grateful you have brought us along with you.
Come back next time to hear from our next guest, Phil, an education professor from the U.S. who packed up his family and moved to China for 16 years to help recruit and develop international teachers. You won't want to miss Phil's episode.
If you're enjoying our podcast, we'd love it if you would leave us a review in your podcast app. And don't forget, you can visit our website at roundtripstories.com to see photos of our guests and to join our email list. And of course, tell your friends to travel the world with us. No passport, no packing, and no goodbyes required. Thanks so much for listening, friends. We'll see you next time.